Today is February 26th, Friday. Today I want to look at this rather spaghetti-like chart. Lots of stuff on it. Don't be scared. I want to build a technical case for this particular stock. This is Clorox, and we're going to go through some of these indicators, some of which many of you have never used or even seen or heard about before. I know some of them are new to me, and as I was researching to do some content for the Research Center for Technician, I've had to learn them, and some of them actually are quite interesting. Anyway, let's start with the top. We'll get rid of some of these lines to make it a little clearer as we move along. But here we have Clorox clearly in a rising trend, and this is the 200-day moving average, 200 days of the close, typical average. You can see it's doing a nice job defining the trend, and price action is still a little bit above that now, so this is good. That's a positive. We'll take that as a positive. All right, now just as we go over things, I want to delete them just because we just got a lot of stuff to look at here. All right, the next indicator is Chaikin money flow. I am not an expert in this indicator, but I do know that when it's rising and it's above the zero line, that's a good thing. That means more volume is taking place on days where the stock closes in its upper half, the upper half of its range. So you could say money's flowing in, but it's kind of like a weighted, volume-weighted stochastics, and I kind of like this. Here we have Chaikin money flow pointing to the upside. I like that. There's more information about this indicator in our Resource Center. You could check that out. All right, moving on. Stochastics, everyone knows this study. The point here is that in the daily time frame, this is above 80. That means a strong stock. It is in the trading range for the last, say, 3 months. So you could say that it's overbought within a trading range, but we're going to get to that later. But I'd rather have stochastics high than low any day. All right, I'm going to leave that up there for now. Next one is price relative. This is also in the Resource Center. You could check that out. It's basically relative strength or relative performance versus the S&P 500, and you could see, well, it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. It's outperforming the market. A little stall here as it's been in a trading range, but it's still mostly looking pretty good. All right, here we go with the next one. This is called the Jeroen, or the Jeroen up and Jeroen down. It's an indicator that tries to find the trend. So in that regard, it's like the study below at the ADX or the Directional Movement Index. It also works a little bit like Bollinger Bands. So here we have when the green line is well above the red, the up component is working and the down component is not, and we have a rising trend. No secret there. And when they cross, you could get a signal. Not unlike many other studies we've seen. But what I like about this study, and again, it's like Bollinger Bands in that it can help us find a stock that's flattening out and kind of preparing for a breakout one way or the other. And when you have both of these curves going down and both getting very low, it's saying that there's really no trend. And it's a condition where you have low volatility moving to high volatility, and that's basically the concept of Bollinger Bands. So it's just a different way to look at the market. So what we have here is a stock that's been flat, and it's showing now signs that it's ready to make a move. And what you want is for the, if you're looking for an upside move, you want the green to cross over the red from these very low levels. And of course, if you're looking for a downside move, the red will jump back up and the green will stay low. So I'm using this indicator just to tell us that the setup is getting ready. It's getting ready for that breakout. All right, again, this is in our Resource Center. Check it out. The link should be showing. I'm going to get rid of this for now, leaving us with stochastics and the ADX. That's the average directional index, the directional movement system. It's all Wells-Wilder stuff. The green line is your positive component. The red line, your negative component. But that's not of interest to me right here. I'm more interested in the black line, which is the ADX, or the average directional indicator. When this thing is rising and at a high level, you have a strongly trending stock. Doesn't tell you direction. That's what the other components are for. But when it's low or falling and low, you have a trendless stock. And again, low volatility tends to go to high volatility, And when you have this very low ADX, you're looking for a setup. You're waiting for a breakout. All right, now I'm going to flip into the weekly mode because we have high stochastics, low ADX. I'm going to go into the weekly mode, weekly time frame. And I'm not looking at the ADX here. I was looking at stochastics, and it's relatively high, but not quite high enough for a signal. That signal is called the stochastic pop. And what you're looking for is a stock that is staying high within its trading range in both daily and weekly time frames, but a low ADX. So that's a setup. So none of these things are signals yet. I'm just showing that Clorox is showing lots of setups for a breakout. All right, so there you have it. Now I'm going to get rid of the studies just so we can look at price action. And it's pretty easy to see the trading range here. And I'll just draw another line. This is not exact. This is what makes sense to me. Where the price action hits this level the most number of times. So this to me looks like the range. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a measurement of that range and just dropping a vertical line, I'm going to pick up that line and bring it up here if it breaks out to the upside. Again, and let's just put a line there just to keep it horizontal. Just put it right up there. And now I'm going to pick up the line, go to the downside. I'm going to draw another horizontal line just for the measurement so you can see where the targets might be on this thing. When you have a trading range and you get a breakout, the stock tends to move one multiple of the trading range height. If it gets there, then you look for the second multiple of that range. So it's just a simple way of setting targets. So if it breaks out to the upside, looking around 140, downside around 115, obviously there's a lot of movement to go before it breaks to the downside. So I'm not even looking at that yet. I like this. It's set up for a breakout. It's outperforming the S&P. It is in the right sector. It's in the consumer staples group, which is still outperforming the market, even though the last couple of days hasn't been so great for it. So there you have it. A lot of indicators. We looked at different things that complement each other, that don't overlap. And I think this stock is a setup, and you really just wait for it to happen. And then if it does, then you go with it. Again, there's more information about all these studies in the Resource Center. Check that out. Get the link up there for you. Just give that a read, and you'll probably find some things that might be of interest that you haven't seen before.